Our next guest says President Obama's plan to deal with the crisis on our southern border is nothing but smoke and mirrors. Joining us now is a man who has created a Republican initiative for immigration reform. It is one of great and I think rare good sense and judgment. It is incremental and represents, I believe, ultimately the solution. Joining us now is the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Congressman Bob Goodlatte. He's holding a hearing this coming Wednesday addressing the border surge of unaccompanied illegal minors. Congressman, great to have you with us. Mr. Chairman, let me ask you first. This administration is, it seems to me at least, committing outrage after outrage. Could he possibly not have organized in collaboration with the governments of Central America and Mexico what we are witnessing on our southern border?
Well, I actually think that this is an administration-made disaster of his own making, and folks in Mexico and Guatemala and Honduras have actually said things that contradict what he has claimed about this. He's claimed this is due to Central American violence. The Guatemalan ambassador to the U.S. said it's not about Central American violence and pointed to revolutions that took place down there, civil wars that took place down there that didn't generate this kind of movement toward our border by children and, by the way, by other people, too. It's not children. And the Honduran president said it's all about misinformation about U.S. laws. And I would argue that the misinformation comes from the president's own programs, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA, which now over 500,000 people have applied for and received. Word's getting back home. If you come to the United States and you're a child, you just tell them you want to come in and they're going to let you in. And the handling of this issue in and of itself, they're rubber stamping the granting of political asylum cases. Most of these cases are not well founded, but it is very easy to make the claim, get a court date, be let into the country, be given work authorization, and then disappear. And more than 90% of the people never come back to appear at those hearings that are set to determine whether they really had a well-founded fear of persecution in their home country.
Speaker Boehner said, put the National Guard on the border. President Obama is not about to do that. He's not about to secure that border, has shown no signs of it. He's pulled back, in fact, our Border Patrol and made it impossible for law enforcement agencies to work effectively against human smugglers. The drug cartels right now have effective de facto control of our borders, don't they?
Well, it's a very serious problem. The Speaker is right. There needs to be greater enforcement on the border. But this problem, with regard to these children, actually involves people not going to, swimming across the Rio Grande and crawling through the desert or through a tunnel. These are people who are showing right up at our border crossing stations and turning themselves in to the Border Patrol, saying, here I am, I want political asylum in the United States. Right. Abuse of this law. Beginning of last year, the annual rate...
If I may, Congressman, after traveling by themselves, only working with the drug cartels and human smugglers, traveling 1,800 miles from their home countries to our border.
That's exactly right. And their parents paying thousands of dollars to criminals who are engaged in human trafficking to take their children to do this. It's absolutely criminal. It is a humanitarian problem, but not of the humanitarian sort that the President's identifying. It's wrong. It should be stopped. And I believe we could actually get the cooperation of these governments to help us stop it if the President would make that his initiative. The Mexicans do not want their southern border to be as unsecure as it's been. This new Mexican government has actually said they would like to work with the U.S. to secure that border. Why not do that? That certainly would be a major part of stopping this problem, which has grown from 6,000 people at the beginning of last year making political asylum claims, what are called credible fear claims, to projected 142,000 by next year, by 2015.
And these are well-rehearsed asylum claims that are being articulated by these children. And as you say, they've been told precisely what to do. As to President Peña Nieto of Mexico, actions always speak louder than words. None of this could be happening without the cooperation of his government with the governments of Central America and indeed the United States. I don't believe even, given the relationship between the United States and Mexico now, which is strained, that he would dare do that. This looks suspiciously like very much the thoughts of activists and perhaps a community organizer, at least in his heart, as a way in which to overwhelm a system and take control of it for his purposes.
Well, it is an administration-made disaster, and we're going to be calling out the facts on that on Wednesday at our hearing.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. We wish you luck.
Thank
the
you,
American
Lou.
people deserve to know what's really going on here, and I can't find out for sure. Thank you, sir.